Hey everyone, Leanne here from Kingdom Bloggers. So today I'm going to talk about validating your domain for your email service provider. Many of you, if you use MailerLite, probably received an email this past week about validating and having a domain email address. I'm going to open that email here in just a minute. But basically, what is happening? MailerLite has always enabled you to create a MailerLite account and use a Gmail or some other kind of account as your send email address. If you use ConvertKit, I'm not sure about Flowdesk. I've never used Flowdesk myself, but most other service providers will just let you use whatever. But I know MailerLite specifically has always allowed you to use a Gmail. So starting in February, with Google, all the spam, spam's getting out of control. My inbox, I have to clean my inbox at least twice, maybe three times a day. So as soon as I wake up, I go through and it's like a whole minute of delete, delete, delete. And then around lunchtime, I'll do it again. And then before I go to bed. And every morning it's still again. And so it's getting out of hand. So this is one effort that Google is using to help curb that. So it's Yahoo, Google, Gmail, any of your free accounts, basically. Anybody can go create an account and then send emails from it. A domain email is directly tied to your website through your hosting. So if you use Bluehost or SiteGround, Big Scoots, most hosting services offer a domain email as part of your regular subscription. I don't know of any that make you pay extra for it. Maybe WordPress, if you're hosted on WordPress, which is why I don't like hosting on WordPress. I prefer self-hosting through, like I said, SiteGround or one of those. But it comes in your dashboard. And so just log in. If you don't know how to do it, just type in how to create domain email SiteGround. Like just Google that and the instructions will come up. But of course, whatever your hosting is. And so this would be where your email address is, like, say, for my example, for me, Leanne at bloggersforthekingdom.com. So that's my domain. And so for those of you using MailerLite that have never done that and have always just had a Gmail account or a Yahoo account, you need to get this taken care of now because, like I said, in February, it's going to cause an issue. And so what's going to happen is when you send out your bulk emails to your email list, a large portion of them will most likely start going to spam. And so this is an effort of Google with these email service providers to help block as much spam as possible. I mean, like I said, it's just getting out of control. If you actually go in your spam filter, your folder where all the spam goes, and just look on the send address of majority of what's in there, they are all free email services, such as Gmail, things like that. And so chances are, if you have a domain email, you're paying. It's associated with a website or a business or something like that. And so there's a less likelihood of legitimate spam coming from that. And so that's what all of this is about. So let me hop over to this email. So this is the email, Google and Yahoo authentication changes. Now, let me say, if you're like with ConvertKit, I'm going to actually show you something in ConvertKit. You do want to validate your domain in ConvertKit. That's a whole other process. But ConvertKit has always required you to have a domain email address to set it up. So this is really MailerLite. And like I said, I'm not sure about Flowdesk because I've never used it. But if you got an email from Flowdesk that's similar to this, then this is what it's talking about. And it says right here, if you're using a free sending domain, which is like basically a Gmail account, this may lead to emails being flagged as untrustworthy according to Google. And so this is why we're trying to fix this. So the first step, it says purchase a business domain. It tells you to go to GoDaddy, Namecheap. Just go to your host. If you're with SiteGround, it's right there in SiteGround. It comes with it. So when you log into your SiteGround dashboard, you can go right over and check your email. You can also forward it through the iPop servers and all that to, say, your Gmail, or to where you can check it on your phone or whatever. But if you are hosted with, like, say, SiteGround, don't go to GoDaddy to buy your email. Just go through the hosting that you already have. And then the next thing, it'll say authenticate your domain in MailerLite. And then there's actually links in this email. And while I do trust this is from MailerLite, I am still Um, Phishing scams have gotten out of control too. So I never click links like this that's telling me to log into my account somewhere in from an email. So it's telling me to authenticate in MailerLite. So I'm just going to hop over to MailerLite and log in, and I'm going to do it directly there. Again, I do trust this email is from them, but I still make it a habit to not go in. Basically, if it's a link that's going to make me log into my account, I never click that link from an email just in case there's some kind of phishing going on. So that's one security step that you can take to make sure you don't get hacked. So it'll say authenticate. You can find the resources to authenticate on our domain authentication page. So I'm just going to come over here. I've logged in. I don't actively use MailerLite. This was my first email service provider from a long time ago. So I'm still on the free plan. I do not use it except for training purposes. But if you come over here to your thing, you can click here on this domains. And this is just some instructions for how to do it. And so right here, like I don't have any domains connected because again, I'm not using this, but you're going to add your domain here. And so if you click this, one of these buttons, this is going to come up. So let's see. Authenticating with various hosts. Is authenticating required? So this probably has, yeah, it does Yahoo's new sender requirements. So let's open that one. So there's a lot of information in here. Once you're inside MailerLite's website, and there's a video that'll walk you through it, you can click any of the links in here because you're literally on the website. But once you've created your domain email inside your host, then you're going to come over here and you're going to use that. See, it even lists SiteGround and Bluehost on here. How to verify your email address, go to account settings, which we just did, click on domains, add domain, enter the email address. So this is not your website address. It's your like Leanne at whatever, right? Now, real quick, when you create this email address in your hosting, don't put info at or admin at. It's better to put your name or something more friendly because there has been some cases where the info at and admin at also tend to get flagged sometimes. So make it personal because also when people receive it and they can see the sender, info at just sounds like a generic email that came out. But if they see it's like from a person, so Leanne or your name, then they've already become familiar with your name and things like that. And so it makes it more personable and more likely they'll trust and open it. So avoid the info at and admin at, and just go with your name. Okay, so let's go back over here. And so it walks you through the steps here. Enter it. Once you receive the confirmation, click on the confirm my email. And then to authenticate it, you will need to add 2 records to the DNS panel of your domain. Now, this part, if you are if you are afraid to go into your DNS panel, you can actually ask your host to do it for you. I'm pretty confident in doing this stuff myself, but I just didn't have time. And so I just sent a support ticket to, I use Big Scoots, by the way, and just asked them to do it, and they did it for me. And so this, again, it's to validate the domain, to basically authenticate that it's a real address and not some spam creation, right? And so just follow these instructions here. It's super, super simple. If you get confused, again, just ask your host provider to just send them a chat support, chat, literally. You don't even have to call them, just do the chat support. That's how I did mine, or send them a support ticket and they will take care of all of this. And believe me, you're not asking a question they haven't heard because everybody's doing this right now. So they should already have a go-to like checklist for them to do this for you. And so anyway, let me get out of here. So this again is very, very important. If you don't do this and you continue using your Gmail or Yahoo as your send address, then starting in February, if you have a significant email list and it's been pretty engaged, you have a good open rate, expect that open rate to go down because most of the people just aren't going to be receiving it. Okay. And so I would take care of this now instead of later. Again, your domain email is free with most hosting, SiteGround, Bluehost, Big Scoot, all of them. I'm not familiar with other hosting services. These are just the 3 that I have used in the past. Totally free with a regular, your base subscription or hosting plan. I do know, I think WordPress. So if you are on the regular WordPress where WordPress hosts your site, they may have that as a higher plan, which is one reason I do not recommend using WordPress.com. Instead, WordPress.org, where you pay for hosting through a separate service like SiteGround, is much better and cheaper in the long run. So anyway, if you have any questions, you know what to do. Drop a comment or hop over to my Facebook group. That's actually the easiest way to get help with this and all things. And also, I have another video for those of you, if you're just getting started. I am a huge proponent of waiting to start your email list. I know most bloggers say start it from day one, build that email list from day one. That's just nonsense for most of us. That first year, you're still trying to figure out how to turn your computer on, right? Like, what is how do you spell WordPress? Like, you have no idea what you're doing. And so, number one, you're not getting organic traffic to your site. Mostly your traffic is probably coming from Blogger Share Threads. Those people aren't going to sign up for your email. They're just clicking your clicks, so you'll click theirs, right? And so after a solid year, after you've learned how to set that solid foundation, and then you start implementing SEO, and then you start actually seeing organic traffic growing, those are people who legitimately are interested in what your site offers and are going to be more likely to subscribe naturally. But then you need a plan for what you're going to do with them. And so starting your email list from day one, you're already overwhelmed with just the blog side of it. Having an email list to nurture is just, it's another thing to do that also requires a plan. So I have another video about that. I'm going to drop that in the notes below. And then, if you have any questions about that, of course, ask. But anyway, I hope this was helpful. Like I said, a lot of people had reached out to me about this email and what it means. And if it's like, do I really need to do this? Yes, you do. You need to get your domain email now and get all this done before the 1st. That way, any email subscribers that you do have that are actively engaged, stay actively engaged. All right, guys, that's all for today. I will see you all in the next video. Have a great week. Bye-bye.